Is Vinod Dasari, the MD of Ashok Leyland, who joins in now as the new president of the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers. Mr. Dasari, good morning and congratulations on your appointment as the president of SIAM. My first question to you is with regards to the growth trends that you see for the sector as a whole. Because the only pocket that seems to be growing is the commercial vehicle space. But leaving that aside, everything else has now gotten worse than what it was, say, about 2 to 3 months ago. Do you see more downside in store?
Well, firstly, thank you very much for the congratulations. I'm yet to digest numbers from all the entire industry other than Ashok Leyland, but you're right, the commercial vehicle space is growing the fastest. That's partly because it had also declined the fastest. I think the car industry is coming back, the two-wheeler industry is coming back. You look at the two-wheeler industry, I mean, this is little studies that I have done in the last few weeks as I was leading up to the position of the president of SIAM. It has grown over the last 6 years by almost 60–70%. So I think there might be some short-term blips here and there, but I don't think we should get concerned over it. The commercial vehicle industry was as high as 350,000 vehicles in medium and heavy commercial vehicles just 3 years ago. So, and we went down to as low as 200,000 and we're back up to 230,000 last year. So there is still a lot of upside potential even to reach the previous high, and hence you probably see it in the commercial vehicle and you don't see it in the others. But I think as the economy improves, the rest of the auto industry should hopefully come back.
Okay. Hi Vinod, good morning and congratulations from me as well. Let me start with your comfort zone and actually today the country's comfort zone, commercial vehicles. When we ask, financiers of commercial vehicles, and even for that matter, I think my last conversation with you in Chennai, the feeling seems to be we started from such a low base, that's why we are looking good. In fact, one guy went to the extent of saying that it may take 2 or 3 years for us to reach the 2007 highs. Is it looking like that for you even now?
Well, first of all, when you say comfort zone in commercial vehicle industry, Lata, that's almost like an oxymoron. It doesn't exist. We are constantly on the edge. This industry, what used to be cyclical, is volatile. It constantly keeps going up. But like I was telling Sonia earlier, I think we were in 11-12, the domestic commercial vehicle, and I'm talking medium and heavy commercial vehicle, was as high as 350,000, and it came down 2 years in a row to 200,000. And it went back up to 230,000 and everybody celebrated, oh my God, 15% growth. And this year again we are looking at a 15 to 20% growth, so everybody's thinking it's going to be fabulous. But even if we achieve the 15–20% growth, we'll end up at something like 270–280,000 vehicles. Still long way to go. Now historically, whoever made that comment to you about the industry coming back slowly, historically it does have a V-shaped curve and it comes right back. But it had never happened where it fell 2 years in a row. It falls 1 year and then comes right back. But this time it fell 2 years in a row. And in fact, I'm happy that it's not coming back at 40%, 50% levels. It's coming back 15% a year for the next 3 or 4 years. So we'll have growth consistently for the next 3 or 4 years. And I think that is much more manageable and hopefully provide us a comfort zone that you talked about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. I'll refrain from using too comfortable words. But how is the export picture looking? I know that's not your biggest playground, but you do nibble there. As well, you must be picking up something from your friends in the SIAM itself. Has the rupee made life easier for you? Or is the complete breakdown in global growth actually posing a challenge generally on exports?
Well, first of all, please note that there are 2 types of exports that happen. One are those OEMs who are exporting to other countries where they already have a home base. And there are other OEMs who are exporting to second hemisphere markets like Middle East or Africa or ASEAN and those markets. And I don't think there is any short-term impact just because the currency goes up and down. If the currency goes up and down, you also have the impact on the other side, because it's not just India's currency that has gone down, it's those countries' currencies have also been badly affected. So short-term impacts are very minimal. They don't have this kind of volatility in the export market. For all of the domestic manufacturers, exports are still substantially lower. I mean, to put it in perspective, the total industry size is about 5 lakh crores industry size. And the total exports from our automobiles was about 54,000 crores. So it's still only about 10%. So it cannot have that big an impact. Yes, there are blips. Some countries will slow down. For example, for us, Sri Lanka was very important last year, and it slowed down quite a bit this year because of elections. Now that the elections are over and there's a stable government in place, hopefully there'll be a recovery in demand. Country-specific issues might happen that might delay, but I don't think short-term issues bother any of the automakers.
But you know, just to get a sense of how the retail sentiment is at this point in time, Mr. Dasari, because as you mentioned earlier, we're only living on hope that the economy will recover. And when we speak to, participants like Maruti, the sense that we get is, although wholesale sales might be improving, at the retail end, things are extremely sluggish. That's perhaps because, there's no higher spending power, salaries have not grown, the lower monsoon is threatening higher food prices. So all of your incremental money, whatever little it is going to some of the necessities. Are you getting a sense that retail sentiment has worsened compared to what we've seen, say, about 6 months ago?
I completely disagree. I have a contrarian view to that. Maybe I'm an eternal optimist. Firstly, let me put it this way. No OEM can simply increase wholesale without having retail. That will simply just clog up the pipeline. That means you will be invoicing to your dealers, and the dealers will be sitting on a whole bunch of inventory, and they don't have the cash to do that. So no OEM does that, or even if they try to do that, they can only do it for a month or two. Secondly, I look at things rather than in a negative way. I look at the way that inflation is down, interest rates are down, there are good signs happening, there's a lot more road construction activity happening. Mining is starting, so some of this will start to translate into the general economic growth of the country. There are sectors in our country that are doing well. Not entire economy is doing well, but there are sectors in our country that are doing quite well. And I think, yes, we had a bad monsoon, and that will affect a little bit of the rural demand, but all in all, I think it should be much better than previous year, and sentiments are good. While people are expecting a lot more to happen in this country, I think if you take it with that measure, maybe we are behind. But I think people are generally positive about what's going to happen in future.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that optimism from your mind. But just to get some numbers out from you, when we spoke with Vikram last, he indicated that there is an expectation that passenger vehicles will grow about 6 to 8% this year, by the end of this year. What's the sense you're getting about the overall sector? How much growth could we see by the end of FY16? And if you can just break up your expectations between, passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles and two-wheelers?
I think the passenger vehicles and two-wheelers will probably remain flat this year or show slight growth. Again, the sentiment is positive. Holiday season, the festive season is upon us, and the festive season really has a big impact on the vehicles that are for personal consumption, like two-wheelers and cars. Commercial vehicles, there is a little bit of pre-buy happening because of the speed limiting device and ABS type of regulations and BS4 that is coming at the end of this month, and there is a cost increase in commercial vehicles that will be there. So there is a little bit of pre-buy happening. So you will see a decline in sales in Q3, but at the same time you'll probably see an increase in sales in Q3 for cars and two-wheelers because of the festive season.
Okay, Vinod, we'll leave it at that, but I must say that was a neat summary of all that's optimistic in India. Margins are rising, commodity prices are falling, interest rates are falling, roads are being built, and mining has picked up. Wow, the market is excited. Actually, it's lost its reddish hue after hearing you, Vinod. Thank you very much. At this point in time, actually, we are in flat terrain. Sensex is down just about 10 points and the Nifty is down 5 points and rapidly getting into flat terrain. Mid-caps as well were at one point down 1.5%, now down less than 1%. So things actually picking up. We were one stock in the green for 3 in the red. Now we are one stock in the green for 2 in the red. So things are actually picking up a goodish bit at this point in time. Keep your fingers crossed, Sensex in the green. Well, that's a great